No matter how mild, all traumatic brain injuries should be taken seriously. TBIs can affect your memory, mood, and overall health, but VA can help you manage TBI symptoms. Hey guys!
Learn more at www.mentalhealth.va.gov/TBI.
Hello and welcome again to Oscar Mike Radio. My name is Travis. I'm the host. Oscar Mike Radio is part of the Hoobazoo Network. You can find out more on hoobazoo.com. And I'd like to start by saying thank you to my sponsors, Joyce Asack of Asack Real Estate, National Guard veteran Mark Holmes of Reaper Detailing and Power Washing, and my supporters, Simper Savage, Salad Dressing, Bottom Gun Coffee, which I'm drinking right now, and Cason Shaving Company. And now to the good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm excited to talk with an artist again. And Baily is an artist. Baily Marie has joined me on Oscar Mike Radio. Baily, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And some people wonder, why do you talk to artists, Travis? And I'm like, there's a lot of similarities between what artists have to do and what we as veterans and military have to do. We got to be, focused and committed and dedicated to what we're trying to do. And I think there's a lot of similarities there. So as we go into this, Baily, I'm very curious. I mean, you're not in the business for a long time, but it seems like that you've known for a long time that you want to do this. So kind of tell us who Baily is.
So I'm 14 years old and I'm from North Carolina. And I started singing from a very, very, very young age. But I actually started off with more of musical theater, and I've done so many musicals, so many plays. And then throughout that, I've just kind of found a love for singing. And, whenever I was about 9, I sang a lot, but I never really thought that I was going to, try and do it as like I wasn't going to be passionate about it. And then when I hit around 10 years old, that's when I really started to, work on my voice, started working with vocal coaches, started really trying to make my voice better. And then something that really got me started in the music business was I actually went to New York. And it was with me and my mom, my dad, and my mom saw that the Apollo in New York City was casting for their new show, their next show. And so so my mom was like, this was like when I was 10 years old. My mom was like, I'm gonna submit you for this. And then we were like, there's no way I'm gonna get on that. There's like absolutely no chance I'm doing that, because I was 10 years old, haven't had that much training. And so we never really thought anything about it. And so time went by and I actually did end up getting cast for it, which was like insane, because first of all, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 10 years old, haven't had that much training, and I'm gonna have to perform in front of all of these people. And so after that, I got really focused on working on my voice. And once I performed there, that's when I found a producer in Los Angeles named Andrew Lane. I started working with him. And that's when I started putting out my own original songs. And then throughout the whole COVID situation, I wasn't able to travel out to LA, because before COVID, I was traveling like all the time out to LA, multiple times a year. And after the COVID situation, I started traveling to Nashville, because Nashville is way closer to North Carolina than LA. And I started working with Kent Wells out in Nashville. And that's when I was 13 years old when I started going out to Nashville. And that's when I started kind of realizing that I wanted to switch over to country pop, because when I was 10 years old, I was doing like the bubblegum pop. I was doing like all of the pop business. But now I switched over to more of the country pop. And that's a big switch to go from, super duper pop into going to country. And so I started writing my own songs. That, like, last year, I spent the entire year traveling out to Nashville, going different places, writing with writers, which is super important too, to, because before I wasn't really thinking about being a writer for songs. It wasn't something that, I never thought that I would be good at. And then I started actually writing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really fun. And this is like actually something that is really cool to do. And I actually enjoy doing it. So I started writing a ton of songs. I have a bunch of songs that I've written. And right now I'm still working on writing songs. And like I was saying before, it's really important to, write with songwriters, because they all write differently. And you can kind of, it's like an environment where you can kind of see how they all write, and then you can take something from it. So the last year I have a ton of songs, I have a ton of demos that I'm just so excited for people to hear, because they're not ready for it, because all of my other stuff was super pop, and then now it's like it's completely different. It's country pop, and I know there's still pop in it, but it's like completely different, and I love it, and I'm so excited for people to hear it.
Awesome, awesome. So let's just go back a little bit. It's like I can't believe you're 14, because, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have links to her Instagram and Facebook, and I'm like, I know adults that can't sing like you can sing. And I did look on your website, and you've written a lot of your own work, which is, in my understanding, not generally the case. A lot of country artists, other people write for them, which is, I guess, is completely normal. But my first question is you've decided, like, right now, that this is something you want to do, and at a young age, but still you had to make a very mature decision. What was that like, pushing all in, if you will, to do this as a career at your age?
So there was a lot of things that I had to give up. Like
Yeah.
being only in ninth grade, I had to give up going to school. And I know a lot of people are like, ew, school, but that's also a chance to, be with your friends, be in that environment. And so I also had to give that up. I am homeschooled, but I do go, it's actually cool because I kind of worked both in to, try and still have that childhood that a lot of people need. And so I actually go to 3 classes in school, and then I go the rest online, so I'm homeschooled. And so I still get that I still get to be with my friends, and still have a normal life in school. But I think once you really figure out that you're called to do something, you're meant to do something, and you love doing it, no matter whatever is holding you back, you're always going to be called to do that. So that's what I was thinking, because when I was 10 years old, I never really knew that I was gonna go for it. I didn't know how long it was going to last. And now, being older, but I'm 14, but older than 10 years
I
old.
was gonna say, Bailey.
Older than 10 years old at the time, but it's a lot more of a passion. And so I wouldn't change anything that I've given
You
up.
love it.
Yeah, I love doing it.
All right, so I've asked every artist this question. We're gonna get this out of the way, and I want you to answer me honestly, Bailey. Okay, are you ready for this?
Mhm.
You're sacrificing a whole lot right now. You're having to make adult decisions right now, and I've taught, you're having to operate differently than other kids, girls your age. Like, my 14-year-old sons were not thinking about going to LA or Nashville. They had other things on their mind, Madden, paintball, that kind of thing, right? And so you're giving up a whole lot, and you're pursuing this dream, and in some ways you're crushing it, right? But what if I told you, look, like Neil Young and Paul McCartney sold their catalogs for, let's just say $300 million. $300 million, Bailey. What if I had the power to give you a check for $300 million right now? I'll sign it and it will clear. But, I give you the check, and you can never perform again. You can never do your songwriting again. You can just, bank on the work you've done, and you're done singing, you're done with all that, and you fast forward to, the beach house and all the good stuff. Would you take the check?
No, not at all.
No,
No.
no artist ever says yes. I've had one guy say, well, I'd think about it, but generally the answer is like that. It's no. Why not?
Because it's not about money. It's about, whenever people like nobody really understands what it's like to, sing your own material, sing the songs that you write. It's like a whole different feeling and something money can never really give to you. And so I wouldn't take the money because it's something I love to do. It's one of my top things I love to do. So why would I take money over something that I genuinely love doing?
Okay. All right. All right. I'm 0 for like 12 now, so I got the streak going. Very good. And let's talk about your performing. Tell me what it's like. And the reason I ask this is I am not you. I will never say that, oh yeah, I'm in the same league as Baily, but I did do some singing at one time in my life. Tell me what it's like. You're at your gig, you're in the recording studio, and it's time to turn it on. What's it like right as you're going up to the mic and you're waiting for the go signal and then you sing that first note? What's going through your mind?
I think what I normally do is I don't love, thinking about it too much whenever I'm there, because it feels like whenever I think about it too much, that's when I start psyching myself out. That's when I start, Baily, maybe you don't got this. So I really just have to, whenever I go to the studio, whenever I perform live places, I really just, have to believe that I got it. Because if I don't believe that, then, I'm always going to have that regret in me that's like, oh my gosh, you should not be out here. So whenever I go out there, something that's mainly going through my mind is, you got this, you have prepared for this, you're going to do great. And so I always have to believe in myself before I even hit the first note, because if I don't, then I never know if I'm going to actually hit that note powerfully or if I'm going to, be scared to hit it. So whenever I go out there, I believe in myself. And so whenever I hit the first note, I'm like, yeah, you're going to do great at this.
So no matter what's going on, sound guys being sound guys, sometimes they can write, lighting, whatever, you have to believe.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe in everything you're doing before you sing the first one. It's very powerful. It's very powerful. It seems like you're getting to this, and I really like the song Heroes. Your mother said, hey, check this out, and I had, and I saw that you co-wrote and did this, and I was kind of curious if you'd tell me more about that, because again, I'm like, and the reason I want to know about it is a lot of people will say, well, those young kids, they don't care about the military or America anymore, they're just self-absorbed. And I'm like, well, if she co-wrote that, that means she has a great deal of passion for people who serve, whether they're military, first responders, or whatever. So how did that all come to be? Because I thought that was very like, it hit me in the feels, Baily, it did.
So the song Heroes, my dad is actually in law enforcement. And so I have an entire family line of people that have all been in law enforcement. And so whenever I got asked to write that song, I had to incorporate everybody that, helped people during COVID, like firefighters. We had to incorporate NASCAR because there was a NASCAR driver involved, police officers, law enforcement, telecommunicators. We had to involve all of that. And so me and Pete Salas, we were like, okay, so we have to put ourselves in mind of what everybody has been going through. And for me, I mean, if we didn't have all of those people, we would not even be able to live. Like those people are so important to everybody, and some people don't even realize it. And so whenever me and Pete were writing, my dad was also there. And so my dad got to tell us, like, he, since he knows like all of the codes, and I don't know all of the codes. I mean, I just being honest, I don't know what they mean. But my dad, in the song, it says 10:33, not worried about time. And my dad was like, what if you put 10:33 in there, because that's a code? And I was like, sure, I don't know what it means, but I'm gonna trust you. And so we put it in there, and now that's one of my favorite parts of the song, because it just means something to all of the law enforcement police officers, because they all know what it means, but maybe not all of the just citizens out there, they don't know what it means. But that's also how like, we didn't write the song for just that. We wanted to write the song for to show our appreciation for people like that.
Well, that's something that did come through clearly is, wait a minute, this isn't just about one set of first responders. This covers everybody, and I thought that was done very, very well. And I'm like, wow, okay. And how did the songwriting process work? I mean, you had input from other people, but you had the idea to do this, and do you feel like you pulled it off?
Right. Yeah, I definitely think that whenever we were done, I was really proud of the final product, because whenever you listen to it, there's a different section of the song talking about a different type of people. And
Right.
so whenever I like heard it, I was like, Pete, I think we pulled this off, and I think we got the audience that we were trying to reach. And so I think we did a pretty good job at it. So
Excellent, excellent. So talking to artists, some of them like the touring, like they love being on the road. They love packing up and going to different places. That's their thing. Some of them absolutely love being in the studio. Some of them love the songwriting process, and some of them love the post editing process, where all the mixing and bringing in different elements and mastering the track works out. And some of them love different things. And it's kind of funny, no one artist likes the same thing as another artist, but I'm kind of curious, what aspect of all this is your favorite activity, if you will?
my favorite. I'm gonna say that I love like every single one of them. I love doing all of them. But if I had to pick, one that is like my top favorite, it would either be, oh, Lord, it's such a hard question.
Uh,
Uh, I just really love writing songs,
yeah,
because especially when I get to sing them after I write them, because it's so cool to be able to sing your own music. But it's just because I always write my songs like by myself. If I'm writing it by myself, I always write them like super late at night, like at 1 o'clock in the morning. And I write them here in my room on my bed, and it's like such a good vibe, I guess. And the best songs come out like that whenever you're just not really thinking, and whenever it's late at night, and it's just a cool vibe. So probably I really love writing part of it, but I also love being in the studio and performing. So I'm just gonna say all of the above.
that's fine. And again, it's really interesting because I've never gotten like, I think I've done like 12 artists like this. And when I say artists like this, these are artists that have not served in the military, not been a law enforcement or anything. They've just been artists. Every one of them, while they've answered the first one the same way, this aspect of their career they've answered very differently. And it's fine. I think it's very interesting, especially as you're going through and building your career up. Curious though, what's it like when you have a fan or somebody that's heard one of your shows come up to you and say, that really hit me right there, because the hero song did. I can tell you, not just as a someone who is trying to learn more about you, but also someone who appreciates music. I'm like, that was really well done. What's that do to you when you hear that kind of feedback?
Whenever I hear that type of feedback, it's one of my favorite things ever, because whenever I write something, I'm like, this is really good. But whenever you actually put it out there, you're always that feeling like, what if people don't like it? What if like you're the only person that likes it just because you wrote it? But whenever people start saying like, oh my gosh, this was really good, it makes you feel very good about yourself, makes you feel very accomplished with what you wanted to have people hear and come across. So whenever people say that, it makes me feel like I accomplished what I wanted to do. And it's also a really great feeling.
Awesome, awesome. you know um so often family and friends at this stage of a person's career is important to getting on the go, getting this moving. And you mentioned your dad, and I know your mom manages a lot of your the other side of the business. What's your parents' influence been like to help you get started in your career?
My parents, they're like some of the most supportive people I think ever. And every single person I've ever worked with, they're all like, you have some of the best parents to be in this industry, because they are so supportive of you. And so I would like say that they are always, no matter what I do, they're always going to be beside me no matter what. And yeah, they're just super supportive. I don't think they've ever whatever my decision was, they've always stood beside that. And so, yeah, they're just insanely supportive.
No, it's great because we're going to switch to the military side here in a second and bring you into some of those questions. But some people tell me that it's very frustrating when family and friends do not support what they're trying to do. And I didn't get that sense from you at all, from the, hero song to the interactions I've had with your mother. And, I want to thank you for, helping me set this up. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, this is a really cool thing to see this work like this. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things I ask artists, because a lot of my fellow veterans and myself included, we serve in the military, we get out and we have to do something else. And either we pursue an artistic route full-time as our full-time, thing we do, or we develop some kind of artistic talent we want to do as an outlet or a relief valve or whatever. But a lot of them will tell me they get stuck in a rut and they get frustrated and it's hard and they don't understand why, somebody who's, been doing this for 5 years longer than they have seems to have it so much easier. So I'm curious, let's just pretend for a second we have another veteran, male, female, older, it doesn't matter. And they're trying to do the same thing you're doing. They're trying to break into the country music scene in Nashville, but they're just getting challenged, frustrated, and they want to quit. I'm just curious, what you would tell them, because I'm not looking at your age. I'm looking at the fact that you have been doing this essentially all your life and making some very strategic and tactical moves to move yourself forward. What would you tell them about just staying in this lane?
I would say, if somebody, because I know a lot of things in singing, I've been doing it ever since I was 10. And there's also people that, haven't been doing it very long that are like automatically get all of this fame and all of these people that listen to their music. I would say just because somebody is, going further, it doesn't mean that, you're not good. It doesn't mean any of that. It's just, it's not your time yet. And along with that, there's a lot of people that, maybe they don't support you. Maybe they don't think you're good enough or anything like that. You can't listen to any of that. I can't stress this enough that, you always have to, all of the negativity, you have to make sure it rolls right off your back, because there's a whole lot of negativity in the world. But when you don't listen to it, you just got to believe in yourself. And once you believe in yourself, you'll get so much further than all of the people that, that are putting you down, putting you, make sure you don't want to go and all of that. So I would just say your time will come if it's meant to come, and just always believe in yourself.
You've said that all through this conversation, believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that, for me personally and other people I talk with, is trying to get them to believe in themselves. Why is that so important to you to believe in yourself?
I would say because whenever I was younger, like really young, I had really, really, really bad anxiety. And I was the type of person that, I was very quiet. I didn't talk. I wasn't the type of person to, if I ever did interviews, the person would ask me a question and I'd be like, I don't know. And I just I didn't want to share my thoughts because, I didn't know what people would think. I was very cautious about that, and I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't believe that I could do it. And whenever I had really bad anxiety, I was in a really, really bad place because I had that anxiety. But whenever I started doing music, that's when I started gaining all of my confidence. That's when I started, actually believing in myself. Because I knew people believed in me, but once people believe in you, you have to that's really good. But once you believe in yourself, it's 10 times better. And once I started doing music, I was like, I'm believing in myself,
All
and this is
right.
much better. And so once you believe in yourself, your life's going to get so much better, because when everybody believes in you along with yourself believing in you, it's like the best feeling ever.
That I don't know, that made my day because I totally get it. I really do. And it's so powerful, but so simple. But it can be hard sometimes. So I think that's something to keep in mind as we go through life. Thank you. So you were writing and planning during COVID.
Right.
Are you starting to tour now?
I'm starting to go around places and start playing. We're gonna there were some of the people on my team, we're gonna actually start putting together a school tour where I go to people, my age, different high schools, middle school, and let me go, talk to them about different struggles and have them trying to believe in themselves and different things like that, make them have them follow their dreams. I want to definitely go to different schools like that and sing for them, talk to them about my journey, and maybe get them to follow their dreams some more. So we're going to start putting that together, a little school tour. And I've been I'm going to Pigeon Forge to sing at Hard Rock Cafe and perform there. And then I actually just got back from the Apollo, performing there for the fourth time. And
Nice.
yeah, and so that was my first time going ever since 2019, I believe.
Wow. What
Yeah,
is that
and so
like? I mean, I just got to ask. I mean, you haven't performed live like that, and then you get the Apollo nonetheless. What was it like get back in the groove?
well, since I did it 3 times before, I kind of understood something really weird happened to me that time.
Oh,
It
really?
was, yeah, the 3 times I did it before, it was in 2018. I did it twice in 2018 and I went back in 2019.
Okay.
And so 2020 and 2021 were all COVID. They didn't have anything then because it was just, COVID was going crazy. And this time, whenever I went back, I sang Tennessee Whiskey, and uh, like bringing country to New York, it's like, oh, that's kind of like a different mix, country in New York. But whenever I went out on stage, I was, you're obviously going to be nervous, sure, because that's a ton of people you're performing in front of, and I was nervous all the 3 times before I went back, like in 2008, 2019. I was nervous when I was on stage. But this time I was nervous a little backstage, but when I got on stage and I touched the microphone with my hand, every single nervous part of me literally went away. Like I was not nervous one bit. And I was like, this is the craziest thing that has ever happened to me. Like I was nervous before I got on stage. And when I walked on stage, I was even nervous. But once I talked, like I touched the microphone, I was like, all of my nerves just went away.
Just
And
just
it
like
was
just like a
so,
switch. Just
yeah,
you were on. That's amazing.
yeah, and it's never happened to me like that before. And then even when I got back home, I was singing the national anthem at a place here in Charlotte, a baseball game. And once I got out there, I wasn't nervous. And I was like, this is so weird. I've never felt this before. And but it was so cool to, just touch the microphone and all of my nerves just go away. And but yeah, it was just the coolest thing.
What's it like singing the national anthem? I want to compare notes because I've sung it twice, and I want to know what you feel, when you sing it.
It's definitely it's a big stress to not mess up the lyrics of the national anthem,
Right?
because everybody's gonna know, and so you always got to make sure you know them lyrics. But other than that, I have sang the national anthem so many times because whenever I was in the TV show Swagger, my character in there, she sings the national anthem for them. And being on a TV show, you have to do that scene a million gazillion times. And so I had to sing the national anthem like so many times. And so after that, I had the national anthem down pat. I knew it. I wasn't going to forget it. And so after that, I've had the national anthem down for a very long time, but a big stress is, not messing up the lyrics, because once you mess them up, everybody's gonna know.
Right, right. I just found it for my vocal range. I just there's no way, it was hard to sing for me. I
Mhm.
had to really be pitch perfect, know when to transition because it's a demanding song to sing. And oh yeah, you cannot mess up a single word of it, or you're infamous, not famous. All right, all right. So it's just natural to you. So that's good, but it's still
It,
stressful, right?
oh yeah, it's still super stressful. When I was younger, I could not reach I was having a really hard time, reaching the highest point of that song. And it's also cool to, see how whenever you get older, your vocal range changes. I think that's so cool to see how that works because, you get like a wider vocal range whenever you get older. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And so now it's not.
Yeah. If because I used to, well, I should probably still sing, but that's a different conversation. How has it been for your voice? Because my voice did all kinds of crazy stuff. How are you adjusting to your voice changing? Because you have a long ways to go before your voice really settles, right, Baily?
Right. Yeah. And that is like, I think it's so crazy, but my voice now, it's so weird to look back to, it's changed so much in just a year. Cause, I'll go back to demos I've done, last year and I'll listen to it and you'll see how much, I guess people compare me to a lot to Adele and how my voice sounds to Adele. And
You know what I was thinking? I might be getting myself in trouble. I felt a little Janis Joplin in there.
Yep. I feel like I've been compared to her too. I've been compared to so many people I can't even remember who they all are, but I've been compared to I feel like I've been compared maybe Kelly Clarkson. I feel like somebody said that. Just a bunch of different people just because I love, riffing and belting. I love all of that. And and so seeing the different ranges of my voice, I'm definitely, understanding. I'm finding out more things I can do with my voice than I was able to, which is really cool because it opens up a whole different category of what I can do to my songs, which is super cool. But
But you play the guitar and you sing. So
right.
do you like singing or guitar playing more?
Oh, easily singing. But I started playing guitar about a year ago.
Oh, okay.
And so whenever I started playing guitar, guitar is just not going to come easy to you. You got to learn it. And once I started, playing it and start singing and writing my own stuff, I was like, this is really fun. This is actually really fun to do. And so I love doing both of them. I love playing guitar. Guitar is so pretty. And I love doing both of them. But since I've been singing for so long, I love singing.
It's just we're gonna go down this rabbit hole. I mean, because as a singer, people don't appreciate, in my view, how hard it actually is, and how you have to know your voice to get your voice to do certain things, and you are the instrument, right? I know we get a reputation for being prima donnas and oh, it's just a singer, but you're the voice, whereas a guitar, the string breaks, they can bring you another one.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so just vocally, how do you take care of your voice? Because it is you.
There's a lot of times that, I have to go on vocal rest because I have been singing so much. You also have to really take care of your vocal cords and your voice, because if you just sing for like 5 straight days nonstop, your voice is gonna be tired. And if you keep pushing it and pushing it, it's gonna start like dialing down and
Right,
not be as
right.
strong as it normally is. So you really have to pay attention. You have to make sure that you take care of your voice, because if you don't, then it's not going to be as strong as it used to. And that's how, for me, I have to, sometimes my mom's like, Baily, you got to stop singing. You got to just stop and take this day and just don't even talk. And so
Just
I would
just
definitely say,
just out of curiosity, my voice teacher got mad. I mean, like blistering mad at me one time because I drank milk before a performance.
yeah,
Right? I mean, like
one of the
dressed.
worst things, one of the
I wasn't
worst
even
things.
I wasn't even thinking about it, Baily. I wasn't even thinking about it, and he's like, something's wrong. I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
fine. I'm like, would you? And then when we got to the milk part, it went bad. I mean, I never did that
I'm
again.
just saying, one of the worst things that you could possibly drink before any performance is something cold. It is horrible.
Right?
Something cold, I used to drink, there was this one time, it was so bad. I was drinking, I got a slushie from a little convenience store,
Right?
and I was going to the studio and I drank the slushie on the way to the studio because, I love slushies. I was going to get me a slushie.
Right.
And so I was drinking the slushie on the way to the studio. I got there. I could not hit one note because my vocal cords were so like, I don't even know what it does to your vocal cords.
It contracts them and coats
Yeah, it
them.
like it makes you
Right.
make your range not be able to, be as strong as it normally is. And so whenever I learned my lesson, I was like, never again will I drink a cold. And then even now, I'll sometimes take my chances just because I love, slushies and stuff. And so my mom's like, Bailey, you have to get to the studio in 2 hours. Do you think your vocal cords are going to be fine if you drink a slushie now? And I'm like, yes, they'll be fine. But something really good for, if I'm ever sick or anything, it's like, I think it's called throat coat tea. I hate it. I hate the way it tastes, but it's really good for your vocal cords.
My teacher was a big fan of green tea with honey in it.
I think I've heard that before.
So that's, and to your point, did not want you talking any more than necessary. And, he's like, a lot of singers will go periods and not say a word because you have to rest. But, these are very mature things you have to do, right? To
take care of your vocals,
to get ready to go, because you're ready to go and you're on the move. You're doing all this stuff. How can people find out more about Baily Marie and get your music?
So I post everything on my social media, anything that's up and coming. I post it on my social media. So on Facebook, if you just look up Baily Marie Griggs, I should pop up. And
You do?
Facebook, amazing. Yeah, great. I love that. And so, I post everything on Facebook. Instagram is Baily_Marie 2007. And
Make sure you follow.
Yes, make sure you follow. And on YouTube, if you want to check out some of the stuff that I posted on there, it's just Baily Marie Griggs, and you should go check that out.
Awesome. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking with Baily Marie Griggs, who is up and coming artist. I want to thank Michelle Baxter and Paula Ann and her mother for helping me put this together. And, I think the thing that I got out of this as a veteran is, no matter what the situation is, as long as you believe in yourself, you can get other people to support you in what you're trying to do. I think it's a very powerful message, Baily.
Yeah.
And I'll have the link in the show post to your song Heroes. If you have law enforcement that you care about, you might want to send it to them as a big old thank you for what they do. And I want to thank your father for the service he provided to his community and what he does to protect us. I think it's very important, and I really appreciate that. And again, say thank you to your mom for helping us put this together.
Thank you for having me on here. It was super fun.
Awesome. Well, again, I am with Baily Marie Griggs. I'm going to have the links again to all her stuff. You want to check out her songs. It's very cool. And I'm Travis, Oscar Mike Radio. I want to thank you for coming on and watching. And as we say here, we are mission flight, Baily. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for joining me and watching Oscar Mike Radio. Now go to OscarMikeRadio.com and click shop to check out all the cool merchandise from Authentically American. All proceeds go to veteran service organizations. We are mission in flight.